Republicans are running this race on policy and Democrats are running on tactics. It's that simple. Kamala Harris actually, well, her PAC actually, was accidentally caught. They sent an influencer proposal to a Trump supporter, and now we got it.
About a week ago, I received this email. What they were asking for is $1,500 for anti-Trump content on TikTok. So they basically sent me this kind of like creator brief with all the asks that they have and everything, and like do's and don'ts, like don't show any form of support for Donald Trump and his allies, gloat about Harris and her allies, attack Trump supporters for their intellectual or personal values. This is actually a campaign with Future Forward.
Whoops. This is the campaign claiming that they have all the authenticity, but they're paying people to say nice things about them and bad things about Donald Trump. And sometimes not even with the disclosure that they're being paid. And it's not just him. Others are coming forward, too.
Sunay, who met us in Houston, was one of a few dozen influencers invited to the White House to watch the State of the Union and meet President Biden.
He said to us, the collective presence in this room has more viewership on Gen Z than all of traditional media combined.
Now, Democratic organizations are flooding the creator community with cash and providing behind-the-scenes access.
Come with me to meet the President of the United States.
The Harris campaign does not pay influencers directly. CBS News found a constellation of other Democratic political organizations that do.
In addition to paying them, the DNC and other super PACs are offering them these backstage passes and exclusive access to woo these social media influencers to promoting Kamala Harris on their platform. Super authentic, guys. Great job. This is their strategy. Remember, 2 weeks ago, I told you about Democrats that are running PSYOPs campaigns that our military runs in other countries. This is a PSYOPs campaign. The world is getting more and more of their news through social media and from people like this. And just to show you how effective this is, Pew Research did a study that said last year 32% of people 18 to 29 years old get their news from TikTok. Even more get it from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and a lot more get their information from podcasts and these new live streaming things like Kai Cenat. They have tens of millions of followers. He just released a live stream about how the Secret Service is contacting him for collaboration with Kamala. What the hell is the Secret Service calling influencers for? They're a government entity tasked with protection, not PR. They're running a PSYOPs campaign on America. I mean, color me surprised that the same people trying to influence you on Kamala are the same ones that released this video 3 years ago.
Vaccinate, vaccinate, make an appointment. Vaccinate, vaccinate, make an appointment. Vaccinate, vaccinate, gets rid of COVID. Vaccinate, vaccinate, gets rid of COVID. Shut the arm.
What did I do? Not underestimate these people and the lengths they will go to make someone or something that doesn't do any of the things they say it does seem palatable. The Democrat Party is a shameless PR machine that will tell you not to believe your lying eyes and ears just in order to keep power. Democrats did this in 2020 where they hid their barely sentient houseplant that became president in the basement. And then they're doing it with Kamala Harris right now because every single time they let her off script, she just vomits some word salad about a Venn diagram or unburdening some community bank by what had been. Look, her handlers know Kamala Harris is not exactly going to go down as one of the great orators of our lifetimes. Why do you think it was so hard to get her to agree to a debate? She talks tough, though, when she's on script.
Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
Okay, obliged. But when J.D. Vance walked over to her plane, she hid inside while he gave an impromptu presser to her press pool. I mean, what a G move, by the way. But Donald Trump, he just gave a 75-minute off-the-cuff press conference to like every media network out there. Trump and Vance are out there on the campaign trail. They're taking questions, they're holding press conferences and rallies and town halls, telling people what they will do and what he has done once he gets elected with concrete policy. They are filling stadiums with people coming to hear that policy. And what are Democrats doing? Yeah, they just put a couple people in a stadium and filled it up, kind of like Trump, but they're holding it with rock concerts and celebrity A-listers twerking around in people's faces to attract the crowds. And then when Kamala Harris comes on stage, you can see from this video right there from Turning Point, as soon as she took the stage, people started walking out because they didn't come for her. They came for the rock concert. That's unbelievable to me, folks. People come to see Trump because they believe in him. That's why they're there, not because of some A-lister. They're trying to hide Kamala Harris, Tim Walz from any actual questions so the media can define their campaign, because they know that every time those two open their mouths and try to define their own campaign, they come up with insults like, "You're weird." No. Weird is children at pride parades with adult drag queens twerking in their faces at school libraries that Tim Walz, tried to delete from his Twitter feed to get us to forget about it. Weird is catching a staffer having gay sex in the U.S. Senate briefing room. Weird is when your political appointee in charge of nuclear waste, a man, was caught stealing women's luggage from airports and then wearing it to galas. Weird are things like Tim Walz's bill that called pedophilia a protected sexual orientation. Weird is when the president's son admits to snorting Parmesan cheese off the carpet because he was so high that he thought it was crack. Don't call me weird. That's weird. That is why they are allowing Morning Joe to define their campaign and not them. That is why Kamala Harris has yet to hold a press conference after 19 days of launching her campaign. But Trump did it, called her right out.
Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country, because our country's never been in this danger before.
I love this guy. It never gets old. Like, strap in, folks. The next 90 days is going to be the greatest reality show we've ever seen. This election, though, it relies on you. You got to make sure that your friends and your neighbors and your liberal mother-in-law know exactly how bad this country is because of the left. Sorry, but don't listen to your wife at dinner. It's always time and the place to have the argument. Bust out the Trump bottles of wine and let them have it. Pick every battle, because the ones you don't might cost us this country in November.